Hi guys on YouTube, it's me from Ian Jam, and today we are doing a review that I've been wanting to do for a while now, and it is A Hat in Time. Okay, the game is about a little girl who is just called Hat Girl due to the fact she has a nice little top hat, and she's flying in space going back to her home planet, and then suddenly while she's asleep she hears a knocking on the glass window of her spaceship, and outside she sees a man who is called the Mafia, and he says that she has to pay a toll for flying in space, and then since she won't pay the toll he breaks open her window and the air obviously sucks them out, and whilst that happens all her time hourglasses get sucked out too, which is the objects you need to collect in the game, and there's 40 in the game in total. And so they get sucked out, Hat Girl gets sucked out, and obviously Mafia gets sucked out, but I don't know how he's in space and flying around. But that's just the greatness about A Hat in Time already, which I will get into. And so for the remainder of the game, you are looking for your hourglasses. And with collecting them hourglasses, you meet some really interesting characters, great levels, and really enjoyable visuals, comedy elements, and overall an interesting line of platforming levels too. But with the actual gameplay itself, it's very much like Super Mario Sunshine and Super Mario 64 with a slight essence of Banjo-Kazooie. And that's what the developers, Gears for Breakfast, wanted to portray, to get back the old style of N64 type of games. And it really does do that so well. I mean, I wasn't really expecting it to do that well. In my first personal opinion, I mean, like, I played the beta and the alpha when that came out, because I got it early. And honestly, I thought, okay, this is going to be like a really good game, but will they stick to what they've been doing? And they honestly did. They kept it to the exact same way that you were expected to do, and it really doesn't fail at any point of the platforming and like moves you do. The controls are fluent. There's nothing wrong with them at all. There's absolutely nothing wrong. Jumping's simple enough. It's obviously just like Super Mario and Banjo-Kazooie, so you know them sort of platforming, and it has hints of like the, I know it sounds a bit weird to say this, but it's like the light version of wall kicks from Sunshine, if that makes sense. Like how easy it is to wall kick. So that's great. There is a few problems with the controls I noticed, only a bit, but this wasn't really controls. I think it was more like animation would go a bit weird. So when I would hit a wall, sometimes Hat Girl would get stuck, and that kind of got a bit weird, but it would always clip you back into bounds, so there was never like, oh, you have to reset the game. That never happened, and which I found was really cool, that at least they know it would clip you back into bounds. And in the game you also get power-ups. These power-ups consist of different hats and badges. The hats give you different sort of powers, such as making potions to blow up objects, a fox helmet that will let you see items that you couldn't see before, a running hat which makes you obviously faster, a stop clock hat which will obviously freeze everything whilst you're still moving normally, and an ice hat that will make you be able to jump off particular objects to get up to reach higher places. And I think that's all of them. Am I sure that's all of them? Yeah, I think that's all of them. If I'm wrong, I'll probably say in the rest of this video like which one I may have missed. But the badges are much different. Is that you can equip different badges up to 3 if you upgrade the like how many badges you can have. You can have up to 3. Obviously start with 1, 2 and then 3. And they consist of different things, like you can get one that will make your because each, depending on what hat you have, has a recharge meter. You can get a badge that makes the recharge meter quicker, You can get one to make the game harder. You can get one that gives you a hook shot, which is a very useful one, I think myself, because there are hook shots in the like hooks that you have to use quite a lot in the game, so I usually keep the hook shot with it. And also there are other ones such as glide down normally and make sure you didn't hit a wall. So I won't say a lot more, even though I've kind of ruined how many hourglasses you need to collect. Okay, let's actually talk about the characters. The first character you meet, obviously the Mafia. There are literally these people, and the first time you go to is called Mafia Town, and the first people you see are called the Mafia, and they're just these guys with suits, aprons, and they're just basically lovable goofballs in the game that, honestly, they act more tough than what they really are, because they really ain't tough. They're pretty simple-minded people, and they've taken over this one town, and basically a character called Mustache Girl really wants them out of her town, and I won't tell a lot about her because that will kind of ruin a bit of the game, and I don't think that's right, even though I've again ruined how many hourglasses you need. But yeah, basically she doesn't like the Mafia and she wants them out, so that's what I'll say about her. But her character is hilarious. I love the way that she's so cocky and so independent of herself that she doesn't want anyone to get into her way to do what she wants to be doing, but she has a lovable heart for herself too, in a way. But she wants to act all tough and like more tougher than your character is, whereas your character is more of a silent type. And she's just so funny when it comes to that. I really mean that. She's a great, loving character, but you know, she has her limits too. And I was saying with the Mafia though, she doesn't like the Mafia, and the Mafia don't really like her, and they're trying to get her. And you would think the Mafia will always come after you and all that in the game. They don't. They sort of keep to themselves. As long as you don't bother them, they won't bother you, and they'll even talk to you, which is fun, and I love that. Other characters there are. There's one level where you're in a forest, well, like a haunted forest called Subcon Valley, is it? Subcon Valley or Subcon Forest, and it's honestly, it's a really great level. I love the attention to detail in that whole level. It's sort of like a whimsical sort of forest, and this is the horror level, by the way. It's such a whimsical forest in its own way, but then you realise there's more dark things going on there, and one of the characters in there, which I won't ruin, he makes me laugh so much. I mean, I love his character, how he tries to be all threatening and scary and all that, but really you realise he's pretty much, you can pretty much be a pushover to him somewhat. And how Hat Girl like manipulates him in a way in that game, where if you play it you realise that you can understand more of her character too, like how she's really lovable, but she's got a cheeky side to her too. I mean, I'd say she doesn't really talk in the game, but you learn from other characters and what she's like. And honestly, especially with that character who she's been with there, she really does show off a lot of her characteristics from him. But you know, and also in that level, like obviously since it's in the forest, this one's split into sections. Like there's a bit that's on fire, there's a bit that's stuck in like bayou and sinking sand and stuff, or sort of like a bog and stuff. And there's like a little village on one side, and then there's a well, no, that's not well. There's just iced over spots on the other side, which is really cool. I mean, like every area is different in that level, which is great, and it's a huge level too, but not huge enough to get lost. You can still do it, and it's not even a problem. I mean, at first I thought it would be a bit hard to go around, but it wasn't. I found it was really easy to go around. I mean, hell, I won this whole game 100% in a weekend. I'm not joking, I won that game in a weekend. I was bloody surprised. But I spent a lot that weekend doing it. I won't go through much more like levels because I don't want to ruin it, so I'm not going to go through any more of that. But the art style is very much like Mario Sunshine to me, and sort of like a Wind Waker sort of area of it too. And it works for like the style of like a high, jolly, bubbly sort of game like that is supposed to be, with a mixture of a serious tone into it, if that makes sense. Like, as I say, the stuff I don't want to ruin to it, but when you play it, you understand what I'm trying to say. It helps, like, with the tone. Like, the colouring in some levels, like when it wants to be dark, it will be dark. Whilst when it wants to be jolly and happy and kind of bubbly, it keeps that light, bubbly colouring, which I think is great. And every world, and this is one thing I was really great about, happy about when I saw this game. So first off, it would be sort of like Mario 64, you know, going to level similar, it's just different. Level layouts, that's not a problem, by the way, because Mario 64 and Sunshine are great games, and I love their level designs. But it's like, with this though, every level is different. It doesn't just go through the one formula. Go and grab your hourglass, come out, do a mission, go out. It's like every world has its own story and things that are happening and its own dilemmas, and yet you're figuring out, like, whilst you're doing your thing, you're also helping them out to fix their problems, which I think is really good. I mean, I don't see that much in games these days. It's like you go to one level, you get everything from there, and you go out. You don't really fix anything. You just go grab your things, which again isn't a bad thing. Mario 64 and Sunshine did it, and even Galaxy does that, and Banjo-Kazooie, and I think they still do it brilliantly. And this does it in a different way that I didn't think it would do, but it did it really well. And the humour in the game is great. I mean, I laughed a lot in this game, and I honestly didn't think it would make me laugh that much, but it really did. And I found, just as I said, the characters and how everything is played, like everything's played off from each other. Like, as I say, that character in Subcon Forest, he gets messed around by a hat girl later in the game. Also, you learn more from, like, the Mafia. You learn a lot from each individual character, and I think that's really good. But yeah, I've been rambling on a bit now. But overall, I think Hat in Time is a fantastic game, and honestly, when it came to stuff like Ukulele, I mean, people were disappointed with that. I still haven't played it myself yet. I'm waiting for it on Switch, so I'll be waiting for that one. But from what people said, Ukulele is a disappointment. But I'm telling you, for one thing, Hat in Time is not a disappointment. I mean, I will say there is stuff I really do wish that was in it. I mean, I wish there was more levels in the game. That's fair. But the way I think of it is, it's the company's first ever game, and you can't make a big, grand finale, like grand masterpiece with so many levels and all that as their first game. It's too big, and the game was in development for at least 4 or 5 years, and you know, they've done very well, and I'm happy and I'm proud for Gears for Breakfast, because they really did put so much time into this game. You can tell they didn't cut corners. They did everything, and they had some great talent, like Grant Kirkhope doing the music, and you can tell when it's him by the music that plays. You know it's him. And you know, getting some really interesting voice actors to do some of the characters, it's great. And they really have put ideas for everyone in there. There's like a clock to do speedrunning with. There's modding. You can make your own levels. There's just so much going on in this one little game that an independent company did. And you know, they really had a passion to make such a game like this, to bring back the platform genre from the Nintendo 64 days back to today's time. Well, yeah, back to today. And they didn't disappoint. It's a fantastic game. Hat in Time is an extremely recommended game to play if you love platforming games. It's on PC right now on Steam. It'll be coming to Xbox One and PS4, and hopefully a Switch version for the people on Switch. But you will not be disappointed with this game. And overall, I'll give it a 9.5 out of 10. I said the 0.5 bit is only because I wish there was a bit more levels. That's it, really. And that was just my own little nitpick. But 9.5 out of 10, I really recommend getting that game. It's awesome, it's lovely, it's beautiful, it's sweet, kind, hilarious, and it will have everything that you need from a platforming game like that. Anyway guys, this is me from me and Jam, signing out. Have a nice day guys, and take care of yourselves.